All right, let's do this. Hello, Nutana band family. Bad news. I had to shave the beard. Can't wear a mask with a beard. I'm alone in the recording studio up here, so I'm gonna unmask right now so you can hear me better. So, I made a post yesterday about some exciting news about what's gonna happen with Nutana's band program this year. I'm very excited about it. I'm gonna tell you about it now. A little bit of background. By now you've probably heard that Saskatoon public schools and Catholic schools have suspended band for elementary schools only. I was initially upset about this because music is an essential subject, but the current times I actually support this. My spouse is a band teacher too, and I was worried for her safety, which affects my safety, which affects my kids' safety, which affects your safety. We already have an anxiety pandemic, which is probably peaking now, and I think it's smart for us to pause on that for a minute until we get to 0 active cases. It's going in that direction too, which in all of Saskatchewan, which I'm optimistic about. So, however, band is not suspended in high schools in both systems. The spaces are bigger, the students are older and more disciplined. There's a lot of reasons for this, and I don't need to go into them here, but I support this as well. I think we could continue in person, but there are some restrictions, and I'll explain that in a second. So, Nutana band will continue, and I'll fill you in on that plan. Yeah, there's some folks out there that think that that the sun is setting on the world. I don't buy this for a second. However, I think we can all agree that the sun has set on that which we know and that which we used to do. I see the empty auditorium and the empty jam rooms, and I feel empty. But an empty glass is destined to be filled. So in the spirit of the Nutana band program, that has always been to try to adapt to what the students want and need. And while the sun is setting on what we used to do, there's an opportunity to meet the dawn with new ideas, and I think this is an opportunity to take advantage of. I know I posted a plan about distancing and masks and playing on the stage and using the jam rooms as solitary practice spaces, and I think that this would work, but that has been waylaid by the limitations of the cohort system. So every high school in the city, in public anyway, is going to essentially become Nutana in that you can take 2 classes at a time, morning and afternoon. They're a little bit longer. We're still going to be a quartered system. Everybody else is going to have their year divided into 5 instead of 4. So it's business as usual around here, essentially, in terms of schedule. The daily schedule has been altered. You could find that in another place than here. So high school students can only be in 2 in-person courses at a time. This is to help with contact tracing should all hell explode. Because band is at lunch at Nutana, that would make it a 3rd class, which is a no-go for everyone's safety, and I support that. At this point, when I heard this, I thought that for sure Nutana band would be canceled. It's just not going to be an option, but I pushed for the opportunity to do something new, try to meet your needs, and we're going to do it. So here's what it is. For the first semester, we're going to go virtual. If restrictions on the cohort system are lifted, we'll go back to in-person playing if you want, while continuing the virtual stuff. And you're probably groaning at this point, saying like, more Zoom meetings, I can't do it anymore. We're not going to do as much of that as we did before. I was still figuring it out. I think that was, it was the only option at the time. Anyway, stay positive. This is an opportunity. We can do anything we want. This also means that you can have your 2 in-person classes and then the 3rd course to earn a credit for that you do in your own time. This means done high school quicker. Almost everybody else can only earn 2 credits in the entire system. You can earn 3. Sorry, just gotta scroll down here. Okay, this band class is gonna operate on your time and your schedule. You got a job? No problem. You got 2 classes during the day? No problem. You gotta take a mental health day? No problem. Sort of like what we did in the spring. You can earn a credit in band, guitar, choir, general music, or a custom special credit class. Or if you don't need credits, just do it for fun. We will work towards the credit that is most beneficial to you and the most valid for your choices. When I was in high school about 20 years ago, this same sort of thing happened. I got a credit for taking a Royal Conservatory piano class, a piano exam. I barely practiced. I passed, and it wasn't that hard, and I wasn't that good. But it was recognized, and it was beneficial to have that extra credit. It made me sort of like realize that the things that I engage in my spare time are just as valid for education as the things that I'm engaging in the formal system. That program's been canceled for years now, I think. At least I hadn't heard about it. At the same time, I was taking drum lessons, I was recording albums, I was playing gigs, I was teaching young students, playing organ in the church choir, and a bunch of other stuff that was way harder than the piano exam. Way more fulfilling, way more interesting to me, no credit there. That always bugged me. I was trying, I was learning, I was engaged. The school system said, nope, doesn't count. For whatever reason, it's water under the bridge now, but I'm kind of seeking to bring that sort of thing back and expand it a little bit. So, many of you are already engaged in making music. You practice, you consume, you write, you feel, and you live through music. Some of you want to get to that point, and that's good too. Growth mindset is important. Any activity you engage in with music is valid to me. If you engage in it, I will recognize it. And it's not about quality of product, just love for it. So, half the course will be whatever you want. This might create a bit of a paralysis of choice, so I'm going to narrow it down a bit, but these are negotiable, they're just ideas. Yeah, I've got 10 examples of what could be done. 1, take private lessons. In person or with an online course. I know this might not be affordable. If this is the case, you can check in with me regularly and I'll guide you through it and individualize it. Or simply practice your instrument and try to get better. At most of your ages, I'll bet you have good practice schedules and a little bit of discipline, and you could probably set aside half an hour a day to just practice your instrument. Maybe you already are. 2, teach private lessons. This might be a stretch for distancing, etc., but it's on the table. 3, listen to albums from your favorite time period in full and write a review. A real listening project that you take seriously and make time for. You ever wanted to listen to the entire Beatles discography, like the full catalog chronologically, and watch that crazy culture explosion happen in real time almost? Or all of Zeppelin start to finish? Or anyone you like and follow their musical journey as it was intended to do, as instead of listening to piecemeal whatever came out and then going back 10 years and then forward 7 and then etc. This is the time to do that. By the way, anything that you write in this realm too, like a review or a reflection or a critique or something like that, we could use that towards English credit. I'll collaborate with your other teachers to make sure that your time isn't wasted repeating yourself either now or in future classes when you try to do that. When you attempt an English class, I mean. 4, watch documentaries about musicians and music. There are tons. Imagine coming out of this period as an educated person about the history of pop music in North America. Yeah, here's an example. All North American music, pop, rock, blues, anything like post-World War II is black music and Native American music. So, okay, when slavery was ended after the American Civil War and plantations stopped being commercially viable, enslaved people then became essentially homeless, cast out on the land, nowhere to go, wandering in exile from the plantation gladly, I imagine, with nowhere to go. But where to? You can't go to the next white city. So who took these exiles in? The nearest safe settlement. The nearest safest settlement to most plantations were Native American reserves. Knowing what it's like to be disenfranchised, they took each other in. And for the first time in history, Native Americans and Africans combined cultures, shared knowledge, and new musical traditions were born that would pave the way from blues to jazz to rock to metal to hip hop, rap, pop, everything like post-World War II and the recording explosion. That's all to be credited to Black and Native American people. This is the bloodline that Jimi Hendrix came from. And this has always been an important topic, but now more than ever. If this is it, okay, I digress. Interested in this, I'll walk you through it, or any topic that you're into. 5, play in a band. You're in a band already? Rehearse, practice, perform, record. You're not in a band? You want to start one? Start one. Keep track of your time. 6, learn covers on your instrument of choice. Record them, see me for feedback. Easy. 7, learn a new instrument from scratch. You pick it, I'll try to teach it. There's some that I'm better at than others, but if you want to do it, I want you to do it. 8, take an online theory course. These are free, I can walk you through them. 9, go to whatever live shows that are available right now and review them. 10, with whatever resources available you have, start learning about music production, audio engineering, recording, even video editing. These skills are essential for musicians at this point, where music is moving to the online world. I don't know a single pro musician that isn't living in the world of video. It's just what we have to do now. 11, whatever you want, including combinations of the above or collaborations with other people on the above. or a new idea that comes out of this, as long as you keep track of it and are honest about it. In addition to this, the other half of the course, so all that stuff I listed before, the whatever you want, that's half. Sounds like a lot, but it's pretty much picking whatever you want. So in the spring, we produced more original songs in 3 months than we usually do in 2 years. I get the message. You want to write, you want to create. Unfortunately, connecting with RAIS, the Recording Arts Institute of Saskatoon, is not currently possible with the restrictions I have and they have. So as part of this course, all of you will write a song or contribute to one, and we will record it virtually over Zoom. I will mix, master, edit, and perform parts where necessary to bring your vision to life. Check out our YouTube channel for some examples of this. There's some really awesome contributions and achievements by previous and returning students. You know who you are. It was just such a cool experience to try to record without actually being in the same room as somebody else, and it turned out really, really well. It ain't perfect, but dang, it was fun, and it really gave some shape and meaning to my day as a person. I hope it did the same for you, and it worked quite nicely. There might be some opportunity to come to the studio where I am right now, like one at a time, to get some vocal tracks happening. I'm still waiting for permission on this. This will work for guitar and voice, bass and piano. It'll be tricky for drummers. Let's solve that tech issue later. I think it's possible, but it'll be weird. So that's the plan. Half the class, whatever you want. The other half, write a song. What is your time commitment like is probably your question. Well, okay, technically we need up to 100 hours by mid-January. That sounds like a lot, but it's not. It's like 1 hour per weekday from now until mid-January. That's a maximum, not a minimum. Maybe you watch a 2-hour documentary and write about it and then take a day off. Maybe you take a week off because you just can't. And that's fine too. Maybe you practice 30 minutes a day and then 1 day a week you just listen to albums. That's great. Whatever combination works for you. I want to make this about the hours that you put in and not about what you're not doing. That's a double negative. But I want to make this about the time that you're spending and not what you're not doing. I think about it as like a point system instead of like a percent system. 50 hours maximum before mid-January on doing whatever you want. 50 hours maximum before mid-January writing a song with me or someone else from the class. Or maybe you do all 100 hours of songwriting. That's fine too. We'll have to do some time management with that, with what I'm available for and what your collaborators are available for. Also, weekly check-in points that will count towards your 100 hours on Zoom just for team building. Those will either be in the early morning. I'm not sure anybody's going to be available then, but I am. Or right after school in the 4 o'clock zone, or after my kids go to bed, so in like the 8 kind of zone. Whenever the most amount of people are available, they won't be required. It'll be just nice to check in. It's also an easy way to get some hours in and discuss stuff and bounce ideas off each other and see some faces and share some memes or whatever. That's it. That's the course. Half of it, whatever you want. Half of it, writing a song with me. Maybe you don't get 100 hours in. That's fine. 100 is the target. Maybe you hit 55 hours or 75. Some English classes you've gone to and you've been able to be present for 65% of the time, you still get the credits and your mark is still fine. These are flexibilities we're going to have to extend at this point, and that's cool. I don't want you to feel like 100 hours is like you have to do that. That's the target set by the ministry. The evaluation scheme will be customized to what you are doing, and then we'll agree on it when we get there. So it's going to be different person to person, how you're going to be marked, evaluated, and stuff. Some of it's going to be self-reflection too. But we can't do this unless people register, and register soon. So I'm encouraging you to register as soon as possible to see if it's something that you would like to take advantage of. There's no pressure to follow through. Or if you don't like it or this method just isn't working for you, you can always drop your end of the rope, and there's no judgment there, and that's totally fine. This is an extra credit to help you get done high school faster, but it's also a way to bring some focus and joy to your day in these weird times. What I'm trying to do is get things you do for recreation anyway to be counted as valid, because music making is a valid activity that's not just a special activity for the talented or the elite or the chosen or the career driven. It is a normal human activity that is core to existence. There's some things that people just do them. I realize I haven't even spoken to people who would like to start from scratch, who've never learned music before. You can still do this too. You can start from the beginning of any instrument, and I'll help you through your way there. At that point, if it doesn't work to collaborate for songwriting, then we'll just continue learning whatever instrument you're learning in the meantime. There'll probably be a guitar credit or a choir credit. Speaking of choir credits, we'll probably all do something that has to do with vocal projection, because we're all going to have to practice that as a human race right now, because we're all going to be wearing these for a hot minute and you can't really hear what people are saying. So diction and projection will be extremely important. I'm probably bad at it, but we'll do some breathing and projection things so that everybody's got some more vocal skills to help navigate the world right now. Boop. We're the only school doing this that I'm aware of. Anywhere. I haven't researched that, but that's the only one that I'm aware of. If it works and we get enough people signed up and enough people follow through, it could have reverberating effects for all subjects. But this won't be possible if for anyone if we don't get people registered. So for those coming back, I am encouraging you to register as soon as possible. And for the Nutana Band family members, please pass word around to folks who you think might like this. You can call a school to register, you can come in person, masks are required right now. You can register online. I'm going to be away. I'm going to be at the school, by the way. I'm teaching computer science in the morning and I'm the career facilitator in the afternoon, so I'll be around. I'll probably have to do some of the band stuff, from home at night, just for ease of time instead of driving all the way back here and wasting an hour. Anyway, these are all details that can be worked out. This opportunity to fill this empty glass and perhaps return to in-person in the second semester or even earlier if it comes to that is, I think, an opportunity not to be missed. I want to get as many people involved as this is possible and make it work for as many people as possible. I think there's also a lesson about personal responsibility here because, as you might imagine, some of this band program stuff is a lot of time management and getting people in the right room and why aren't you here and how come that's not ready, and sort of just managing like you might manage a small business, people's time and energy and efforts and things like that. I think it's mostly been successful, but this is a kind of world where you might have a career working from home in your lifetime, and you're going to have to be responsible for the time and energy that you put in. This is good practice for that. At least this is more enjoyable than your average job, and it's a good way to sort of get your feet wet with it. Anyway, I could talk about this for hours. I've been thinking about it for months, and I'm really excited to give this a go. Please register, please pass this around, and feel free to ask me questions, either in the YouTube comments or on the Facebook page or on Instagram. I'll post it too. I can't wait to reconnect with some rad people and make some new relationships with prospective members of the Nutana Band family. Be well, take care of yourselves, register please, and peace and love.